In this exercise, we're going to create a pond. So I'm going to start with the line command. And I'm just going to draw a line going straight across. So I'll make sure I turn on my ortho. And the distance is 1.25. Enter. Next, I want to create a line from this midpoint going up a distance of 2. So line from this midpoint going up 2. I'm going to create a circle at the top of this, but I'm going to use the 2-point circle. Click that endpoint and then I'll come down a distance of 0.75. Next thing I'm going to do is copy this line going up. So I'll choose copy, select this object, pick a base point, and then I'm going to type in some values. 0.2, enter, 1.1, and 1.3. I'm going to trim these lines. I'm going to zoom into this circle and trim here as well. I'm going to rotate this line down. This is going to be my base point. 33 is my angle. Let's choose offset. 0.3. Select this line. Go over this direction. Go back to trim. And trim off these lines here. Go ahead and delete that line there, as you don't need it anymore. I'm going to create a line going down from here, 0.16. I should be able to now create my arc. So I will choose arc, start in radius. This is my start point. This is my end point. Radius is 1. I'm going to draw a line down here at the bottom just to connect this end point. I'm going to erase this line. Go back to offset. Distance is going to be 0.1. And I'm just going to offset this line above. Now I'm going to use a command that we used back in the intro class. Lengthen. Total. 0.1. And then the objects that I'm going to change, remember with this command, you're going to have to select where you want the object to be affected. So click here and here. Followed by escape. I'm going to create a line from this endpoint to this endpoint. One last trim is here. Now I'm going to join these together. So remember, you just highlight, J, enter. I'm going to revolve this. Select that shape you just created. My axis of revolution will be from that endpoint to that endpoint. Just going to take a look at it in isometric by clicking on that lower corner. I'm going to switch over to shades of gray. Select the rotate gizmo. Select upon the red axis. Then make sure that you stand this shape up. I'll go ahead and put my radius around this corner. Solid tab, fillet edge. Radius 0.01. Then select that edge. It's going to give you a preview, so hit enter. Then one more enter to accept it. Let's switch to layout 1. And I know with this one I'm going to wind up creating a custom scale. So I'm going to select this viewport. And inside of this fly up next to it, I'm going to scroll down to custom. Choose add 3:1. And in the paper units, I'm just going to put a 3 there. Select OK. And then OK. Let's go ahead and delete this viewport. Insert in your title block. I'm going to go to the Annotate tab, select Dimensions, Layout tab, and go ahead and adjust my page setup. If you don't quite remember all the buttons that I'm selecting, please review the previous videos. I'll go ahead and go to my base view, from model space. I'll click my pawn here. Remember, you have to hit the enter button after you put in your first view. And I'll create an isometric. I'm going to select this view, select the drop down arrow, then I'm going to select the one that I created. You'll notice that these two are linked together, and I really don't want this to affect this one. So make sure that you clear all your grips. Select this one. Select that same view scale, and this time, instead of selecting it from parent, choose the one that says 2:1. I'm going to double click on this view, select the word hidden lines, and I'll go to shaded with visible lines. Okay, next I'll go ahead and show you how to cut a section through this. So I'm going to choose the one that says section here. Select my view, and I want you to touch this midpoint and come up just a little bit from it. Do a left click and then come down below it. Left click, enter, and then you'll be able to move and place your section. And once you click and place your view, make sure you hit the enter button afterward. Just going to move this up a little bit, so I'm just going to select it, select that square, and bring it up. I'm going to put this on the correct layer, so I'm going to select it. Do a right click and go to Properties. Underneath the layers, I'm going to choose Phantom. I'm going to go ahead and clear out my insert box, so I'm just going to close that one. And these are controlled by a different style dialog box, so I'm going to select it here. I'm going to modify it. And I don't want to see these cutting lines going all the way through it, so I'm going to tell it to turn those off. But I do want to keep the bins that show me where that section is cut through, so that will control those options. Underneath the view label, I'm going to make this text a little bit smaller, so I'm going to change the text height to 0.1875. And here on my front tab, the identifier and arrows, I will change this text height also to match. So 0.1875. I will put a couple of dimensions on here for you, but you are still required to put the rest of them on. So I'm going to go to this annotation tab, and in some of my other videos I key in them, but you can also select those dimension styles from here. So I'm just going to use a linear one. I'm going to place this linear dimension here. You can see that my dimension style is not correct. Enter. Modify. And I'm going to start with the Symbols and Arrows tab. Just going to change that to none. For this one, the text height is going to be 1/8 of an inch, so I'll adjust it here. I'm going to leave the Fit tab alone, and underneath Primary Units, I'm looking for the one that has 2 decimal places. And once you close this, you should see your dimensions will adjust accordingly. And I'll do these 2 dimensions. Sorry, I selected the wrong one on that one. Actually, it's this endpoint and this endpoint. And I'm also going to dimension here. With this dimension, I'm just going to pull it to the outside. Okay, and the reason I wanted to put these dimensions on, because it's a very quick way of putting those diameter symbols in front of each one of these. So if you select each one of your dimensions, in the Properties windows, scroll down till you see Primary Units, and look for the dim prefix. %%C. Okay. And I will go ahead and put in on the center lines for you as well, just to show you on one. So before we do that, remember you have to use the center layer command. And the value will be center. I'll go ahead and put in my center layer. I'm going to click this line and this line. I will select that center line that I have. I'm going to click this square at the top and put it on that midpoint. Okay, you can do the exact same thing with this one. And go ahead and put on the rest of the dimensions. Make sure you fill out your title block and update it. And then make sure you upload it.